I've had the privilege, again, of working with the Verizons of the world, the AT&Ts of the world. In fact, I can pick up the phone and talk to a lot of these guys. And Verizon has their monthly GB that they consume on their wireless network is about 2.82 GB per month. Average in India today is about 600, let's say 800 meg per month. Remember, in the Jio era, it is way, way more than Verizon's GB per month. India has the appetite to consume. And all of you love the internet, especially YouTube and certain content. And we know how to consume. Because otherwise we wouldn't be, because I cannot say that because somebody here will tweet it out and I'll be in trouble. That is, that I said so many GBs we consume. But I can tell you, today, we are bigger than any one of the 4 operators in the US put together in terms of data. Feel very proud about it. But we have bureaucrats, we have technocrats, and we have friends in Delhi, we have friends in every state, and we need to make sure all of them takes bold decisions. And when the demonetization happened, I was very proud. Though I know it didn't hurt me at all, I should say, but it hurt a lot of people. A lot of people. I know it's hard, very hard, but I also believe we handled it well. So there is regulatory environment. There is storage and computing that is extremely important. When I say storage, none of this is actually technology from a telecom perspective. Whether it is genetics, whether it is informatics, whether it is nanotechnology, right? Or 3D printing, all of this, or AR, VR that we talked about. In fact, AR and VR, the younger brother of VR is 360. So if I explain that, 360 videos is if I can have about 6 to 8 GoPro cameras in here, I don't have to do VR. I can actually do a 360 and live stream it. That requires so much compute more, so much storage more. So as AR and VR and the new voice is the video, and the explosive data growth happens, the need to have not just a regulatory framework, but also the storage and the compute in a cloud environment is also extremely important for us to scale. Across businesses, across verticals, it's not just a telecom problem. Telecom is just an enabler. Bad word, telecom, I would say. Broadband is just an enabler for any digital service. This is just to show you that again, how that 462 is split. Every analyst has their perspectives on how they look at things. But the most important thing is we need to make sure we have not just the speeds, but the content and the relevant applications is also very important. Because one of the issues in Kerala, as some of you may know, I don't know how many of you are from Kerala and out of Kerala, but there is the coconut climber in Kerala, right? Kerala obviously is the land of coconuts, and not enough coconut climbers in Kerala. That's a huge problem for the last 15 years, 18 years. It's a huge opportunity for people to be smart coconut climbers. And apparently you make a boatload of money being good coconut climbers. But our society doesn't allow us to be a good coconut climber. Because imagine if my profession is a coconut climber, I'm looked at differently. You know, that's the beauty of, again, I should say, a country like the US. And when my first boss came, when we had our first child, to visit at the hospital, we were just having an interesting chat. And he was a trash collector before he became an executive at a Fortune 50 company. And that's okay. He was very proud of being a trash collector. He said, I used to love standing behind that truck and that wind, you know, going over his face when it was especially sub-zero temperatures. I mean, he has a thrill in that, right? And when we look at India, I think it's very important to look at inclusive growth. I think it is extremely important for us, inclusiveness. I'll try to do much better than this. Quick. So there is 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. See, people also look at 5G and say, is that a big wireless technology? 5G is not a wireless technology. It's a business process. It's got technology associated with it. It has got NFV, SDN, cloud. I will use a lot of lingos in here, but the bottom line is, it is not just one technology, or it is not a technology. Now look at the geo effect. What has happened since June to December? 30% smartphone growth. When our friends in the industry said, remember in June of last year, we had only 25 million LTE phones in this country. I'm sure that's why they said it has to be 2019, 2020 before India wakes up to 4G, because there are not many devices. December, we've got 110 million devices. And believe me, a good number of that is our subscribers. And we have talked about up to December what our subscriber base is. We just announced it, I think, last week. From October to December, 72 million subscribers, what we have announced. And we have not announced how many GB we consume per month, not yet. And we do believe we will have a couple of 100 million users on 4G and data in India in the next 2 to 3 years. And we will create that ecosystem because India needs it. We cannot be at 135 in the global index of broadband. You heard what Mr. Trump says. It is inward looking. There's going to be a lot of protectionism in this new world. And it's not just about Trump. It's not just about Brexit. It is the new wave. Though I do not subscribe to that wave, personally, it is a new trend because human beings have a psychology of being associated with what they have not experienced. So I'm sure it's cyclical. Now, this is my acronym, LTE, Learn to Earn, right? Because I think LTE provides a beautiful 4G technology that allows you to leverage. And what this has also done is how we think about networks. You know, I had the pleasure of building Arcom. I remember Reliance Communications. First time before I got associated with Reliance Communications, I was shown about maybe 20, 25 slides. I was working for a company called Williams-Wiltel, which is now level 3 in the US. And said, we want to be the AT&T of India. I thought, these guys must be jokers, trying to be the AT&T of India, right? And when I came to India, I realized the BSNLs of the world and the rest of the world, and I won't name any other operator, they all built centralized infrastructures. But today, with everything getting connected, including trees, in fact, my 7th grader son's project, he, on his smartphone, can see how much water is in our lawn. And this is an app he did for his science project. And he did it in Python. He said, Dad, Java is a very clumsy language. So, okay. Hence I'm using Python. See, that's how the new kids think. And now, my mom, who's 85, 86 years of age, when my son tells he's using Python, has a completely different meaning. So, more than 80 billion wirelessly connected devices by 2025. I believe there will be more than 100 billion devices. This is the prediction by a lot of the experienced players in the world. Now, as we were discussing earlier, when you have everything connected, you have a lot more many problems. When you have everything demonetized, and when you have everything digital, there's a lot of issues. And hence, security has got to be paramount in anything and everything we do. And security is not the issue. I'm not saying service providers shouldn't take care of it. Absolutely they should. They have their responsibility. They have their accountability. The government has their accountability. The government has their responsibility. But each one of us, as individuals, have the biggest responsibility and accountability. When you build a house, you have strong doors. In fact, you go to most of parts of Kerala or Bombay or anywhere, on the door you build another door. Like a cage, like a metal cage, you build a door on a door. And because you want to be secure. You have all these doors, but you yet not lock them. Or you have the wrong people come into your house. Or you lose your keys. Same thing. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I'm a little bit of a hacker. A little bit. And I had this bet. And even now, I'm a hands-on guy. I do not, like I said, my office always tells me, sir, can we help you with this PowerPoint? In fact, when I was in my car, somebody was asking me, can I help you with your PowerPoint? I said, no, I'll take care of my own. And because I love doing things. I made a bet with somebody. If you are on my LAN and you help me get connected to the LAN, in less than 10 minutes, I'll say hello to you on your computer. A pop-up will come. Is it difficult? No. Actually, there are 500 guys who have put these codes on the net. I don't have to do anything. You just need to know a small tweaks about how to manage and what holes you think a regular network has. Then you can pretty much exploit it. Right? If you look at, in India, if you look at it, the number of attacks is 17 million, and India is the second most attacked country globally. Of course, we have so-called 462 million users, and remember 250 million or 58 million of those are feature phones. Now, I sincerely believe we have a great opportunity to create India's digital ecosystems, and we will talk about that. But to do that, in Reliance, when we buy a phone, we don't buy a phone. When you see a device from Reliance, when the average cost of the device was $150, $160, we started offering devices for $50. We buy resistor, capacitor, transistor chips. That's the level of details that we go to. Because otherwise, we cannot deliver a device at this cost. So we start with the chipsets. In fact, one area that I can very comfortably say in this room is, I love talking about chipsets. And because I think the inherent capability of chipsets is what makes a device tick. a device communicate, a device powerful, different types of SoCs in the market. Extremely important. All I am trying to say here is there is a cost of various things, which is your infrastructure, whether it's cloud-based or non-cloud-based, your network capacity, how well you use it, whether it's efficient, inefficient, and how you OpEx manage it, right? In today's world, technically, if your office or IIM Kozhikode is buying internet from somebody, whether it's Airtel, Jio, BSNL, whoever it is, you need not write a big order form. Wrong approach. You should be able to go to www.airtel.com, log in as IIM Kozhikode as a username, password. You should be able to configure your own elastic internet as you deem required. And that's available today in multiple markets. So that means I don't need to have 20,000 people on my network provisioning. That's part of the orchestration and automation of a network. So I think it's very important. The reason why I'm putting these thoughts in you is, you are young folks. There has to be a level of entrepreneurism. There has to be a level of innovation, right? Social as the main. So let me run through this. Connected everything. There is healthcare, there's education, agriculture, retail, transportation. I'm a big believer in two things in India. One is healthcare, and I think another one is agriculture. For us as Indians, right? Because our economy is agro-based. We have to help our farmers. We cannot just help the guys who are chauffeur-driven, right? There are people out there who need help. If we can have the right device and the right application and the right UI associated with it, the potential is immense. And both healthcare and agriculture has that huge potential in India. If you think about it, actually it's 1:2000, and 1700 is the wrong number in terms of doctors in India. And I'll give you one more chart here. If you look at it, 80 million diagnosed with cardiology issues, 90 million diagnosed with diabetics. And I work quite closely with a few doctors in Reliance, because we also own a couple of health centers. And Mukesh's wife is very much involved in working with Reliance Foundation. And we have what we call as a health internet exchange as a hub. And today, don't quote me, but I think it's about 500 or 1,000 people. Reliance directly or indirectly gives free medical service through this app. And what happens is you can go to one of the certified labs, give you a mobile number, and your application on the phone and that certified office is linked. So your blood report, everything can be viewed on your smartphone or on your Android phone or your iOS phone. iOS is too expensive for us. Now, prevention is always what they say is better than cure, right? I mean, preventive, proactiveness in any area is very important. That's all that matters here, is how do you take care of individuals from a preventive health care? The other is also specialist doctors in India. India has even doctors, but specialist doctors are extremely, extremely small number in India. You go to a doctor where you need, whether it's nephrology, neurology, cardiology, it doesn't matter. You don't have access to specialists in India. That's a huge issue. So if you had the right technology, you can sit here on this hilltop and converse with the right doctors. That means not necessarily you can have a nurses or assistant, a nurse, or even a physician here who needs to consult with someone else with real-time exchange of data can happen today through phones. You don't even need a big kiosk. You don't need to have big telemedicine type of things. I'll run through this. Learning is the same thing. Even when you look at India, 47% does not even have a toilet in India. Or for that matter, I think 26% no drinking water. And 25%, just like some of our what do you call, babus, right? Are not necessarily at work every day. Or we take too many tea breaks between work. That's okay, we need to fix that. And so education, I think disparity is a very big thing. Disparity is a huge thing. And IIT Bombay does a lot of NGO activities. I don't know IIM Kozhikode does that, but I hope you guys do that because it's extremely important. The impact that youngsters can have on youngsters is unbelievable, right? Because you can have the same protocol of communication with another youngster. Let me look at agriculture. Even when you look at agriculture, 40% of the food, of the produce, is lost due to spoilage. And we are working on certain sensors to help with that. See, technology today exists, but not everything is really affordable to the level that our farmer can afford it. So we have to make it affordable. Those are the opportunities for us from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Digital money. Of course, the government took a bold stand. We talked about it. there is some number between 88 to 90% of India was cash-based economy, right? And fortunately or unfortunately, it is stated that 95 to 95% of the money has come back to the bank, right, as part of the demonetization. But it is still good, bad, or ugly. It's a great transparent way of managing money rather than just in cash. I think the opportunity exists.